This broadcast is dedicated to Mayor Kim Norton and Parks Board President Linnea Archer. Thank you for this wonderful Led Zeppelin tribute that you brought to Rochester, Minnesota. I wanted to attend it myself, but unfortunately I had to work, of course, that night. But I'm glad I was part of helping to pay for it. No resentments. I'm just saying arts and music are really important. And I love Jimmy Page, of course, John Bonham, his son Jason Bonham. They're all great. So this song is dedicated to you. You need coolin', baby, I'm not foolin'. I'm gonna send ya back to schoolin'. Bump, 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 way, way down inside. Honey, you need gonna give you my love, oh, gonna give you my love, yeah, oh, yeah, need a whole lot of love, you need a whole lot of love, you need a whole lot of love, you need a whole lot of love, baby, I've been learning, baby, you've been learning, oh, good times, baby, 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 I've been burning, way, way down inside, gonna give you my love, gonna give you every inch of my love. Gonna give you my love. Oh, got a whole lot of love. I got a whole lot of love. I got a whole lot of love. Let's talk about this crazy ass questionnaire distributed by Mayor Kim Norton and Linnea Archer, Pork's president, sorry. That was pure punishment. Or was it a Freudian slip? I have a lot of those in my closet. Really, it was just 2/3 of a pun. P.U. Nice questionnaire. You're out with your family. You want to hear a little Led Zeppelin tribute band. You want to have a little love. You want to remember that summer of love, Chaz, up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, when everything had to get burned to the ground. You're out here celebrating rock and roll. And we all know that's a metaphor, okay? Rock and roll. It's a metaphor because we used to have to use metaphors to communicate connotation, things that were societally maybe not worthy of being discussed in public, right? But here you got this questionnaire. We'd like to get to know you better. We'd like to get to know you better. Okay, boys and girls, let's answer a few questions on our survey. How did you hear about this event? Here you are, you're sitting maybe with your friends, your family, maybe your wife of 40 years. Maybe you're here with your grandkids. Maybe you're here with your children. Maybe you're just hanging out with your baby. Whatever your deal is. How did you hear about this event? Check all that apply. Postcard, radio, newspaper, social media, word of mouth. That's a good marketing type question. That's right. That's good. Well, that's good because then you know where your advertising dollar is best spent. Age criteria, please circle. Under 18. Remember that one for the questions to come. 18 to 24. 25 to 34. 35 to 44. 45 to 54. 55 to 64. 65 to 74, 75 plus. Next question. Race and or ethnicity. Race and or ethnicity. I don't know. It's cultural Marxism. Don't try to figure it out. You're not supposed to understand, okay? It is what it is. Check all that apply. Okay, check all that apply. All right. This is just whatever. Anything goes. American Indian or Alaskan Native? American Indian. I was told American Indian is a bad term by the school board people. I was mocked for using the term American Indian. Although I am partly one, I'm not supposed to use that word. Okay, whatever. They can do it. They can use that word. I can't use that word. I'm unsophisticated for saying the word American Indian. Anyway, American Indian or Alaska Native, because there's a difference. Okay. Next, Arabic or Middle Eastern? Arabic. Arabics an ethnicity? Arabic is a language. Anyway, Arabic or Middle Eastern? Now that's not going to offend anybody from, what, Egypt? Can we say Egypt's in the Middle East? Uh-oh, West Bank? Israel? Jordan? Kuwait? Oman? Abu Dhabi? Dubai? I don't know. Pick your country. Pick your group. Group them all together. Next, Asian Indian, or Pacific Islander? Asian Indian, or Pacific Islander? All right, you know, there's so much to unpack there. You're talking about an area probably 7 times the size of the United States of America, the contiguous 48 states. But you're going to group all those human beings together. I guess that's really important. To include Pacific Islander as its own special group, but you don't really include the Filipinos. You exclude the Filipinos. Anyway, Asian Indian. There's that word Indian again, right? I was told that was a colonizer's word. Next, Black, African American, or African immigrant. Now, that's not going to offend anybody because we sure don't have problems between African Americans, American blacks, in other words, or the National Association of Colored People, that you're not supposed to say anymore, and African immigrants, right? Remember the shootout last summer between the children? All right. But you're going to group them together for your demographic purposes because you'll learn a lot. Spanish, Hispanic, or Latino, Latina. Latino, Latina. Now they're respecting binary. They're respecting the masculine form of the adjectival and the feminine form, right? You got Latino and Latina. They actually put that on the form because they're trying to be inclusive, but at the same time as they're being inclusive, they're being binary. And I'm told that's super duper for serials Islamophobic. Next, white. See, white, white's just a basket of deplorables, right? So you can put all the whites together. Never mind if they're Irish, right? Sorry, you know what I'm saying, right? Or Italian. Never mind if you're from Sweden versus Norway, or Netherlands. You know, there's a plethora of cultures and languages in Europe. There is diversity amongst white people. One of the smallest continents with the most diversity at the same time. Interesting how that works, right? It's interesting. Portugal, Spain, right? Italy, all the way over to Greece. You're white, but now, anyway, your differences disappear because you're just white. We need the BIPOC against the white anyway. Next is just other. At this point, they just give up. They just give up. They're just going to other you. We're going to other you. If you're not one of these other groups, the other groups, if you're not one of those groups, then you're in that basket called other. That's going to be your race. Unless, of course, last answer, prefer not to answer. So you can just say, oh, well, fuck it. I'm a mixture of all of this stuff, and your categories don't make any sense to me, cultural Marxist, so I'm not going to answer. Which I want to thank the person who gave me this questionnaire. This came in as a tip. This came in from a friend of mine on social media who said, Wes, you got to take a look at this. And you know what? The person actually, I want to thank that person. I do know their gender, but I'm not going to do a gender reveal. But I want to thank that person for dropping this off at my home, because without you, this original source material would not be available. So I really do want to say a big thank you to that guy who dropped this off. Or, I'm not going to reveal. And then, of course, they want to know your anticipated household income before taxes for the current year. They're very specific. Less than $25,000 or $25,000 to $49,000. $49,999. Then $50,000 to $74,999. Then $75,000 to $999. 99. I don't know how to number. I don't. Mayor Norton, can you help me with my second grade math? You were an early childhood teacher. Can you help me with math, Mayor Norton? $99,999 or 100,000 to $149,999 or $150,000. See, they skipped a whole 99 cent. Oh no, they skipped a penny in there. But anyway, no, it flips to the next. 150,000 to $199,999 or final answer, $200,000 plus. Because if you make more than that, then you're really a rarity. We're just going to group all those people together. Or, of course, prefer not to answer. And then here's a question that I think is, oh wow, I didn't read that before. Here we go. Do you have a physical, mental, or emotional condition that limits and or shapes your participation in work and society? Yes, no, that's pretty binary. Prefer not to answer. Of course, if you were sort of, I mean, how would you know if you were really mentally ill? Anyway, that's the question. You know, prefer not to answer. I guess they need to know the answer. So if you choose not to decide, you've still made a choice. Next is, I think, the real point of this stupid survey. Next is the point. Sexual orientation. Here are your choices. For those of you who believe in 168 genders, for those of you who are non-binary fluid, for those of you who want to have another option, here's your choices you have to choose from. Asexual, and they spell that A-S-E-X-U-A-L. So you get to choose between asexual, bisexual, gay, heterosexual / straight. That's one choice, right? I guess binary disappeared into heterosexual / straight. But it's difficult keeping up with lefty logic, especially when it comes to sexual matters, because they want to say that LGBT is super duper important, while the B seems to represent binary, which of course would negate the T or the QRS or the fluidity, right? Because if you're bi, then you're implying two genders. So none of this is supposed to make any sense, incidentally. That's the real point of it all. It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't try to figure it out, because it's too stupid to be stupid. But this is a public document being distributed at a public event, in a public space, an event we all paid for with our taxpayer money, and you're being asked your sexual orientation. That's just weird. Sorry. Next, lesbian. So you get to choose lesbian as a thing separate from bisexual, I guess. What if you're bisexual / lesbian? I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. Okay, so let me start over. Asexual, bisexual. Oh, there's two. That's super racist. Gay, heterosexual / straight, lesbian, queer, other. Oh, they're otherizing a huge segment of the sexual identity political element. They're other. That's the seventh category, is other. You're all grouped together in other. Or eighth answer, sir, is prefer not to answer, sir. So you have 8 choices to choose from in terms of your sexual identity. But that wasn't enough. That confusion wasn't enough. You're out here, maybe you want to smoke a joint before the concert, and you're trying to have a little fun. You're having a couple beers on the sly because you got somebody making sure you're not drinking in public, or they're selling alcohol over here. So you've had a couple beers. You get this, you're like, what? I'm just here to see some fucking rock and roll, right? I just want to see some rock and roll. You get on with the show. but this is part of the show. This is postmodern life. But asking you your sexual orientation wasn't enough. They had to go on and ask you your gender identity, okay? Because they're splitting hairs between your sexual orientation and your gender identity. This is the second question about sex. Woman, man, gender queer / non-binary. Sorry, I'll have to put a copy of this in the comments below because you won't believe it. This is a government document. You paid for this. Mayor Norton, thank you. This is gold. This is pure gold. It's even on gold-colored paper. Thank you, Mayor Norton, and thank you, Linnea Archer, Parks Board. Fourth option. So you got woman, man, gender queer / non-binary, blah, 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 word salad. Or 4, prefer not to answer. Well, if you got this far, you're probably going to answer that question. Some people are going to be super motivated to answer this question because it's going to be, I've got to represent my community. Okay. I just came to watch some rock and roll. Actually, I'm working to pay taxes so you can watch rock and roll. And that's cool because I want you to watch rock and roll. I want you to see not Jimi Hendrix, but I want you to see the Led Zeppelin tribute band. All right. But two questions about sexual orientation wasn't enough, so they had to ask you a third question about sexual orientation because they just don't know enough yet. They gotta take a deep dive into this. This is their big chance to reach a cross section of people in Rochester. So you got to have 3 questions about sexual orientation. Oh, by the way, what if you're under 18 and you're filling out this form? Because that was one of the age. What if you identify as under 18? Huh? You're going to ask kids this question behind the parents' back? Just saying. You guys are going to run up against the wrong folks someday. It's just like it's cause and effect. It's not a threat. It's just the way things work. People are going to resent you doing that. So, third question on sex. Do you identify as transgender? Brain fart. Brain fart. Do you identify as transgender? Yes, no, or third, prefer not to answer. Fourth, what is your zip code? Useful. How do you feel about this event? Question mark. And then you got 3 lines to answer. And then they ask you what all kinds of music you like and some stuff about classic pop rock because we want to prove that nobody wants to hear classical music anymore. Probably that's all that racist white stuff. Pop rock, again, you have a lot of pop rock where there's a lot of cultural appropriation going on. I say if it's cultural appropriation for a white band to cover some R&B or some reggae, then you folks on the other side, you got to give back all the European instruments that you use for your music. I mean, fair is fair. No more guitars, you got to stick. No more piano. Louis Armstrong, you can't play the trumpet. Duke Ellington, no piano for you. Leonard Thigpen, no bass. Ka-chow, no bass. You got to hand all that stuff back, and you got to use your thumb piano, and that's all you get. No more cultural appropriation. Give back the guitar, Jimi Hendrix. All right. So here's it goes on there, country, Americana, Minnesota music, theater shows, current, indie. And then, of course, they're going to ask for your name and address and all your personal details at the bottom. So if you came to see a concert in the park here in Rochester, Minnesota, hide your kids. When the government officials start coming around passing out questionnaires, if you're the sort of person who thinks that it's not strangers' business to discuss sex with your children or expose them to this kind of thing, pay attention. Be aware. These people are everywhere. They want to know everything. And to me, if you're out here just trying to have a little fun, you should be left alone. You should be left alone with this nonsense. But of course, the cultural Marxists in Rochester, Minnesota can't leave you alone. Mayor Norton needs to know the color of the stripe on your underwear, and Linnea Archer super duper wants to know your sexual orientation. So this kind of questionnaire is what you're going to be exposed to at a Led Zeppelin tribute band concert. Way down inside, woman, you need it. Boom, boom. 2 power chords. Love